Let's do some Geo Metro stuff today. There's no way I can get everything fixed today, but I should make at least one piece of metal for this thing in between jobs. The first thing I want to do is make this floor pan that goes from here and wraps around to here like this. This is an abnormal shape. I doubt I'll be able to make it perfect, but I can make something to fill this gap. I also have to keep in mind where this supporting structure is right here. Once I've made that piece, I'll clean all this rust the rest of the way out of here and maybe put some weld-through paint on that bare metal. I used a die grinder to cut this 24 by 15 piece of metal out of this 12th gen F-150 door. Now I'm going to hammer it flat and clean all of the paint off from it. I need to get all the paint off because I don't know where the welds are going to be, and the paint's just going to mess up the plug welds when I get to that point. So it's all got to go. This takes a long time. I'm measuring the height. It's approximately 5 inches. Like I said, this is not going to be perfect. And that curve right there, I'm just going to freehand. Making this first bend, it's just hanging over the edge of the bench, and I'm striking it with a hammer. Now measuring the length of the curve, and that's about 9 inches. Making sure that I bent it correctly at 5 inches tall, I'm going to make a cut 9 inches across the crease right there. That cut's made at 9 inches, and I've roughed in this curve shape right here. Now I'm going to cut reliefs here and right there so this metal can be bent up to that curve. I'm not going to weld any of this metal in place until this curve is attached to the car so I can hammer it to the shape of the car. Then I'll bend this metal tightly against here and tack it in place. Now with this piece sort of braced tightly up against that floor pan, I'm going to hold this tightly against the curb and then make a mark down here where that curb meets so that I can bend this metal up to match it. I put this ugly weld right here to hold this curved shape so that I can bend this flap of metal up against the side of it. It sucks I had to put such a massive weld there. Every weld that I put on this thing is going to weaken the metal a little bit more. The heat just makes it brittle. Now we've got this shape right here and it fits well. I'm going to go ahead and tack that panel so that it keeps that shape. Made a cut right there, and then I bent that strap in to clamp it, and I'm going to weld that in place. Then fold this piece of metal up against the back of that and weld that. There, 45 minutes and this is all we got, and it's ugly as sin. That's okay because it's just a floor pan. I'll definitely have to put more effort into the structural part for this control arm support. I know it's not that great, but once it's on the car, nobody's going to see it anyway. And all this piece has to do is keep moisture from spraying off from the back tire onto the back of the passenger side seat. I have a similar shape to make on the other side, only a little less complicated. I'm hoping I can do more with this car this afternoon, but right now I have to leave. I need to head off to the doctor and get some antibiotics because there's a possibility this is a MRSA infection. I've had them before on my hands, and apparently that means I'm prone to them. Wish me luck.